Halima, and Jake for now.
Okay, we're live.
Okay, thank you. Calling the meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Ocampo,
Here.
Ms. Hua, Ms. Nathan,
Here.
Mr. Murphy,
Here.
Ms. Lahano,
Here.
Mr. Lee,
Here.
Mr. Ochapinti,
Here.
Mrs. Ian Garrett,
Here.
Ms. Tejada,
Here.
Ms. Salahuddin.
Here. Okay, moving on to approval of agenda unless there's any changes. Dr. Deloria?
There are no changes to tonight's agenda. There are no requests from the community for public comment.
Move to approve the
Awesome.
agenda.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to the next item, communications, starting with Trustee Ocampo.
All right. So over the last couple of weeks, Jefferson High School has transitioned over to HS. It's very nice. A lot of the teachers are trying their best to sort of transfer over to this new system. A lot of my teachers have been hosting Zoom meetings, and I've been getting a lot of work done. And considering what's happening with the AP exams, they're trying. My AP teachers are trying their best to get the students prepared for the exams. It's also going very well with the counselors. Today, I had an email coming from my counselor reaching out to me if I ever needed an appointment for anything, whether it be for academics or anything else, really. And I thought that was really nice.
Mommy.
That's it.
Thank you. Can we get Trustee Nathan?
Oh yeah, same thing with us. We have a lot of AHL going on right now. Some of my teachers are hosting Zoom, and my brother, a majority of all of his teachers are doing Zoom, so he's always on the computer. We have been getting a lot of work done, which is really nice. And on top of that, we have a lot more Google assignments, so it's just so much easier to turn in. And the same thing happened with my counselor the other day. She emailed all the seniors saying, if you just give us a quick update on where you are and stuff. And that was really nice to hear from someone. Yeah.
Trustee Murphy?
Yeah, so yeah, everything's a little different now with the at-home learning. I think both students and teachers are, handling it the best they can. Like I was telling Dr. Deloria earlier, I think last week was hard for a lot of people because it was a tough transition. So I think last week a lot of people were kind of working out the kinks, whether that be students trying to figure out how to work their schedules, how to stay productive, or teachers trying to figure out the best way to give out work, best way to give out instructions, stuff like that. But so far this week, everything's been smooth sailing. So that's been really good to see. My journalism class, we were actually even able to put out just a short one-page news page just to, keep people informed and up to date and keep us busy with stuff. I sent that to Candace. So she can probably send it to you guys just to look at it. But we're trying to keep everything as normal as possible in this totally not normal time.
Thank you. Trustee Lahana?
Yeah, I think a lot of the same things. Everyone's just trying to adjust to the new at-home learning. I think one nice thing is that all of my teachers at least have the whole at-home learning lesson plan, the whole weekly assignments and everything on a doc, so we can all assess our assignment schedules easier. And I think in the beginning it was a little bit harder to see our assignments, but now I think people are getting more used to it and more adjusted.
Thank you. Trustee Zingari?
Unmute. Unmute. Sorry, thanks. Just trying to adjust to and staying updated with everything that's going on. I appreciate the community kind of just pitching in and and being together in these times. And I'm adjusting to being at home with my children and doing homeschool learning, which has been a big change for me. So I hope everyone stay well and stay healthy. So that's it.
So Trustee Ochipiti?
Yeah, like everybody, just I'm sure following the news a lot and keeping up with latest directives, dates regarding everything we can do at home, whether we are workers, students, or citizens. And so, as a teacher in Oakland, we're implementing, I believe, what a lot of, or if not all, districts are doing with at-home learning, using existing protocols like, well, I mean, grading is one thing. We haven't gotten to that, and that's another conversation, I guess. But Google Classroom and even assignments that don't require you to have an internet connection, even though we know that there are free Wi-Fi hotspots available. Just trying to figure out how we can support students. Outside of that, I did get a chance to listen in on a town hall with Congresswoman Jackie Spear. That was good. It was informative. It was last week. A lot of it was updates. A lot of things we're hearing on the news, things we're hearing from the governor, things we're hearing from the federal government, and of course our county. And so just really trying to keep up with that, and of course stay at home and stay healthy. So good to see everybody here.
Trustee Lee?
Yeah, I think just like everybody else, adjusting to this new normal for a while. Last week I had to pick up Hank from San Diego State, and it was pretty eerie to sort of see how widespread it is in another city. Everybody doing the same sorts of things that we are, and then to drive across the state and to see some of the other towns in the middle of the state, like being in Solvang, for example, where you would expect to see crowds of people, and every street was just dead quiet, and the bakeries were just thankful that we even walked in to buy a loaf of bread. It was really pretty sad. So it was an interesting little road trip for over a couple of days to get him and get him back up here, working from home like many of us are, all of us are now, and adjusting to that and having a full house of 2 college kids and no longer an empty nest at the moment. So it's been an adjustment. Dr. Gloria, I do want to thank you and your team for the amazing amount of work that's been done. The daily or multiple times daily communications from you and from your team, and seeing some of the reactions on social media, some of the responses I've had from parents. It's been pretty remarkable to see what we've done in such a short period of time. So just from me personally, thank you.
I hope all my team heard that, because it definitely takes our nearly 500 employees to do that. So thank you for that.
Trustee Tahada? Trustee Tahada?
Rosie, you're on mute.
Hi, Trustee Hua is joining us right now, so if she'd like to share first.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, like with everyone else, it's been an adjustment. I've been working from home since not last week, but the week before. Then having a sophomore at home, I've been able to see how she's transitioned. And this whole thing has just thrown her off because she usually has so many activities. I mean, just to have, she misses her friends. She doesn't go to dance class anymore after school. So now she has to, she's just thrown off by her schedule. And, but what has been nice is how the teachers have been keeping in touch with her, and her classmates been really responsive to emails. They've been very creative in introducing their lesson plans. with videos and of themselves or other videos that they share. And, you know, I know it's kept her really engaged, and it makes her miss school even more because she really loves her teachers a lot. And, but, you know, from us, you know, we're working from home. Like so many of us, we're working from home. I'm very, very, very grateful for the work that our district office team and our entire district is doing. We're so way ahead. We're so way ahead and in tune, I think. And I'm also going on those daily calls with the county, and I feel pretty confident in the leadership there. Someone will ask a question, they'll say, that's a good question, we'll follow up on that. And usually, you know, in the course of how we live our lives, that usually means that's a brush off. But no, the very next day, they will have an answer. Even if they don't have an answer, they'll at least address it. And I also want to thank President Salahuddin for all of her work as president of the San Mateo County School Boards Association by mobilizing us and having bi-weekly calls with the superintendent, because this is so fluid. This is so ever changing and no one addresses education. So boy, I just want to thank you so much, President Salahuddin, for keeping us together in all this. And I'm sure we'll get through it, but it's going to get bumpy, you know, but I'm really glad that we're the district that we are.
Thank you. Now, Trustee Wah, are you able to unmute?
Yes. First of all, sorry for being late. I feel like everything's just been like a lot, has slowed down a lot, and it's just hard to get back to the groove that you were on before. I guess I could say it that way. I don't have much to say. I've been trying to keep up with my schoolwork. I think Google Classroom has been working pretty well as communication between students and teachers. I know that some teachers are like using Zoom to teach their students, but not all of them are doing that. And that's about it for me.
As for myself, so Rosie, Trustee Tejada, and I have been listening to the daily county calls, and those have been really reassuring. They're not really targeted towards school districts. While there's some items that are discussed that pertain to us, they're mainly focused on the cities, but it's just kind of reassuring to hear the effort that the county is making to really keep everyone as safe as possible, and the mobilization that is happening kind of on their own. So those have been really nice and reassuring. And since they have freed up the restrictions in regards to us receiving information as board trustees about COVID-19, anyone is free to dial into those calls now. So if you have time and you want to listen in, I welcome all the board trustees to join us. And then we also have our bi-weekly conference calls that are more focused on school districts and school boards with the San Mateo County School Boards Association, the San Mateo County Office of Education, led by County Superintendent Nancy McGee. And I'm really grateful for her for really responding quickly when we reached out to her to get that going and making herself available, because I know how extremely busy she is. Because I'm sure Dr. Delory will tell us about this, but she has been meeting with our superintendents in the county daily. And I have just been so impressed with the amount of work and mobilization so quickly and without any direction really from the state, that all of our local leaders, both here in JUHSD, through our executive committee and our superintendent, and both through our county board of education, our county board of supervisors, really have helped define for me like the true definition of public servant. There's been like no ego involved, and folks have been just getting stuff done really, really fast. The turnaround has been amazing. So I'm extremely grateful for that. I attended our on-site training that was, it feels like it was so long ago, but I think it was just like a week ago. before the teachers started for at-home learning that happened at our district office before we released everybody to start working at home. So again, it would just reinforce to me how strong our executive team here is with JUHSD and how fast they turned around an entire curriculum so that it could be taught at home. So I just want to thank everybody that was on the team that helped prepare all our teachers and staff to get ready for at-home learning. I also want to give a huge shout out to our facilities team who are continuing to work, even though most of our staff has stayed home, they're continuing to work and do the cleanup and stuff at our school sites, as well as our food service providers at each of our school sites who have been preparing lunch. And again, extremely quick turnaround to preparing lunch, breakfast and lunch for students to take home. Everybody who's volunteering to help. I know they sent out a note for volunteers and it was full in like 10 minutes through staff that is already really working hard. It was filled with teachers and staff. So again, I can't say enough about how grateful I am to be a part of the JUHSD community and how hard everyone is working to get through this the best way we can possible. And again, a huge thank you to our superintendent, Dr. Deloria, who it was a tremendous amount of pressure to close, and just staying true to what we know is best for kids and not really succumbing to fear, but doing what we know is right and making sure that everyone stays informed. It's just been, we've just been really blessed with who we have working for us. And then the last person I would like to thank is Tina Van Raphorst. Through all of this, and I can't even imagine what's going on budget-wise and trying to figure all that out with this huge shift, she is still working on all our plans that we had in place, especially in working to develop our subcommittee for our facilities and continued use of our land. So those meetings have been going on, and we had our subcommittee meeting yesterday. And so I'm just really grateful that she's been continuing that work through all of this. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Deloria for her report.
Thank you. So I can't remember which one of you, I think it was Mr. Murphy. I think the comment was trying to find normalcy in a world that's anything but normal. And so yeah, I can't believe it wasn't even 2 weeks ago, but a week ago, Monday, we did the training for all of our teacher leaders. And then we gave them 2 days to prepare back at their school sites. One of our guiding tenets has been to focus on equity as much as we can. And in this environment, it was, how can we make sure that no matter which English 9 teacher you have or Math 1 teacher, that all the students have the same work. So that was what I can't promise everything's going to be equitable, but at least in the expectations of courses, they were able to agree on that, and each site by department has their work posted by the name of the course. So I was really pleased with that. In the meantime, while the teachers were preparing for all of that, we had Jake and all of his tech team mobilizing to make sure that our students and staff who either didn't have devices or at home or access to the internet, he was busy setting them up. And that was really critical. There's been about a 2-week turnaround time for some families who are trying to get the internet. But once I shared that with teachers, they've been really responsive to that. But that was a huge lift to move everybody to working at home. And then I don't have to mention, you already heard from Tina, but getting the food services going. I know besides the getting all of our food service people to come into work, we needed extra help because many of our employees who are over 65 are actually in food service. So those are people who really, by state order, needed to stay home. So as President Salahuddin said, putting out that request for volunteers, I could not believe how quickly those slots were filled. And then there were additional slots that opened and people were saying, the slots are gone. What can I do? What can I do? So, but that's the kind of district that we're in. We really are a family of 500 and it really shows. Karine and her team continue to support teachers. So I forward you an email today. Lori Robinson did kind of an impromptu training on Google Meeting so that teachers could move from Google Classroom to doing something more virtually so they could actually see each other. And when I hear any of you talking about how you miss your colleagues or how your kids miss their colleagues, you can imagine how important it is to get online with Google Meet or Zoom and be able to see your colleagues or see your students, and there's that connection. And that helps with the normalcy piece though. So in that particular email, this was a teacher who, with a group of them, wanted to try. Lori responded, and the teacher was just so grateful for that. And that's how everybody's rolling. It's like, I need help. People are responding and we're moving ahead. So last week, while we were focusing on how do we do this, how do we log in, how do students log in, this week it's more about how can we get into the teaching. And remember, except for AP classes, our focus hasn't been new content. It's been either review or some kind of enrichment. Again, a way of keeping some normalcy and structure in the students' lives. So I've been really, really pleased with that. The other thing is I'm working with Raina over at Jefferson, and today was the first day that the food truck was there, and it's my understanding over 300 families showed up to pick up food, which is a good time to remind everybody that we have a number of students. It's not just a handful, it's a significant number of students who, because their parents have to work, students are at home watching siblings, cooking for the siblings, helping the siblings do their at-home learning. We also have students whose parents were furloughed. And so you may see some of our students working at, I just heard from Jose Villalobos today, one of his students was busy packing or stocking shelves at Target. But we have students who are trying to make up the income that's missing. So what I would leave you with, besides our district has really risen to the occasion and our community is supporting everything we're doing. So I'm very pleased with that. But if you hear of an employee or a student who's struggling, please let me know and let me figure out how I can get some help to them. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Kay. Oh, you know what? And I have to give huge accolades to AFT, who very quickly came to the table with Tina and Tony and made that MOU happen. So thank you, Monica.
All right, turning it over to Ms. Casey.
Sorry, just trying to unmute. Thank you. I was actually in New York, so I just got back on Saturday, so I was doing everything remotely anyway, and it was really stressful. And then coming back just today, we found out that we have to self-quarantine for 14 days, and that hadn't been happening, so I'll be doing that now. But it was very nice today. I did mindfulness with Ms. Ambrose, and I got to see a lot of my colleagues participate, and that was really nice. I want to again thank all the people that have been helping with the meals. Again, because I have to self-quarantine, I was signed up to come help, and now I had to take myself off of there. So there's a few extra spots open now. You know, it's just been really, really good to see people online interacting with each other and helpful. I'd like to say that we need to answer our emails, or at least just let people know that we
I think Monica.
Did we lose Monica?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you go.
So if you wait a little bit so people can answer your email, give them a chance to answer. So just be conscious that people, you know, put their email and then they are waiting for an answer, like, you know, like waiting by the computer for an answer. And I also wanted to say about the MOU that we came up with, we didn't include substitutes. So we're still trying to figure out what to do for substitutes since they are a part of our unit. They're one of our 6 units. We do need to think about what we're going to do with them. So
She may have. Okay. All right, moving on to the consent agenda, unless anyone wants to pull anything. Can I get a motion to approve consent?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, and we don't have any items for public comments. So moving on to future agenda items. Are there any future agenda items that we want to place on the agenda for consideration?
But just a reminder to everybody that we're trying to set up a virtual meeting, a study session, if you will, for next Wednesday, not tomorrow, but next Wednesday at 5 o'clock. And that's when each of the associate soups will share the work that they're doing, either to serve the at-home learning services, the at-home learning, or the other services that we're providing to our students and to our employees. So hopefully everyone has responded to Miss Bell about that. She's nodding her head.
Yes, they did respond.
Okay, student trustees, have you heard about this meeting?
No, I haven't heard anything.
I have not heard of this meeting. No.
No.
Okay, so we'll have Miss Bell send you information, but if you could plan on April 1st, April Fool's Day, this is the truth though. We're gonna have a virtual study session at 5 o'clock. So I think we're gonna do it through Zoom. Jake wants to try something else, but we'll let you know how that's gonna work. That's all I have, President Salahuddin.
Okay.
Thank you. So unless there's anything else, motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Again.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
And again, thank you so much, Jake, for everything. You're a rock star.
Thank you, Jake.
Well
Thanks,
done,
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks. Good to see you guys.